Today, I bring you some of the most anticipated reads of 2020. We're encouraging everyone to get reading as part of the OPL's Summer Reading Challenge. Sign up at opl.ca, and as you read books and engage in the activities, you will receive badges and be eligible to win prizes. This is a summer like we've never experienced before, but the sheer pleasure of reading remains our most comforting constant. Just because you can't escape to somewhere far away doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy a diversion or two. Or 6. First up is American Dirt by Janine Cummins. Lydia Quizano Perez lives in the Mexican city of Acapulco. She runs a bookstore. She has a son, Luca, the love of her life, and a wonderful husband who is a journalist. And while there are cracks beginning to show in Acapulco because of the drug cartels, her life is, by and large, fairly comfortable. At her store, she meets Javier. He is erudite, he is charming, and unbeknownst to Lydia, he is also the jefe of the newest drug cartel that has gruesomely taken over the city. When Lydia's husband's tell-all profile of Javier is published, none of their lives will ever be the same. Lydia and her son are forced to flee, and as they make their way north towards the United States, Lydia soon realizes that everyone is running from something. But what exactly are they running to? Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. This is a topical debut that examines the relationship between a wealthy white couple and their young and broke black babysitter, Amira. Reed shows the uncomfortable ways that relationships can become strained and how a couple's good intentions are challenged when, in the middle of a family crisis one evening, white blogger Alex Chamberlain calls her African-American babysitter and asks her to take Alex's toddler to the local market for a distraction. There, the security guard accuses the babysitter of kidnapping the toddler, and Alex's efforts to right the situation turn out to be good intentions selfishly mismanaged. This is a shrewd, perceptive, and deeply thoughtful exploration of race, class, and privilege. The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. Vincent is a bartender at a 5-star Glass and Cedar Palace on a remote island in British Columbia. Jonathan works in finance and owns the hotel. When he passes her his card with a tip, it's the beginning of their beautiful life together. That same day, Vincent's half-brother Paul scrawls a note on the windowed wall of the hotel. "Why don't you swallow broken glass?" Leon, a shipping executive for a company called Neptune Avramidis, sees the note from the hotel bar and is shaken to his core. 13 years later, Vincent mysteriously disappears from the deck of a Neptune Avramidis ship. The novel moves backwards and forwards in time, jumping from one perspective to the next and from one reality to another as St. John Mandel explores themes of love and art, fate and freedom, ambition and consequences. Oh, and also massive Ponzi schemes that destroy people's financial lives. Forgot about that. The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This is a new novel about twin sisters, inseparable as children, who ultimately choose to live in very different worlds, one black and one white. They will always be identical, but after growing up together in a small, unforgiving Southern black community, running away together at age 16, 10 years later, we find one sister living with her black daughter in the same Southern town she once tried to escape, and the other is secretly passing for white, and her white husband knows nothing of her past. This is a riveting story, and you can expect some hard conversations about race, but it is also about the lasting influence of the past as it shapes a person's decisions, desires, and expectations. Next up, we have Under the Rainbow by Celia Lasky. Big Burr, Kansas is the kind of place where everyone seems to know everyone, and everyone shares the same values, or keeps their opinions to themselves. But when a national nonprofit organization labels Big Burr the most homophobic town in the U.S. and decides that sending in a task force of queer volunteers who will live and work in the community for 2 years, just as an experiment in an attempt to broaden hearts and minds, what could possibly go wrong? The truth is that no one is truly prepared for what will ensue. As tensions build and closely guarded secrets are forced into the light, everyone must consider what it really means to belong. This story is told with warmth and wit, a poignant, hopeful expression of our complicated humanity that reminds us that we are more alike than we would like to admit. Next, we have Separation Anxiety by Laura Zigman. This is a hilarious novel about a wife and mother whose life is unraveling, and the well-intentioned but increasingly disastrous steps that she takes to course correct her relationships, her career, and her belief in herself. Judy Vogel is a self-help blogger, and she's in a serious rut. She can't recapture the brief success she experienced as a children's book author. Her once loving son is now a teenager who wants literally nothing to do with her. Her best friend is dying, and her marriage is falling apart. It's almost too much to bear, and so Judy finds an unusual, unsettling coping mechanism. To be fair, Judy never intended to start wearing the dog. This is a humorous, surprisingly tender portrait of middle-aged limbo, examining the ebb and flow of life's most important relationships. It taps into the insecurities and anxieties that most of us are able to keep under wraps, and with a voice that is at once cheeky and irreverent and genuinely touching, this is going to become a new classic for anyone who's taking baby steps towards happiness. And so, in conclusion, don't forget to join our summer reading challenge at opl.ca. Log your reading and participate in great activities to earn digital badges, plus you'll have a chance to win some really great prizes along the way. Enjoy!